Coming up on Weight Loss Surgery Journeys.
My parents didn't know about my first surgery.
They didn't know?
No. The only one that knew was my ex-husband, and my boys. Other than that, nobody knew.
You just didn't tell them?
Nope, just went and had it done. They did know about my revision because I had a lot of complications.
Okay.
And they were not very happy. My sisters were not happy, my parents were not happy.
Hi, and welcome to Weight Loss Surgery Journeys. I am so excited about today's show. With me today is Debra Flores. I want to welcome her. She has been 10 years out with a VBG. We'll have her explain that later. She's 4 years out from RNY gastric bypass. She not only had weight loss surgery once, but twice. She's a support group leader, big group in Texas. She's a grandmother, she's a mother, and most of all, she's my friend. Welcome, Debra.
Thank you.
Well, you and I know each other very well, but why don't you tell the viewers, where'd you grow up?
In Baytown, Texas, and Pasadena.
Pasadena. And you are Hispanic.
Yes.
And I would say, was there a lot of cooking going on in your family?
All the time.
All the time. I know you cook, and
Yes.
you cook well. Was that a problem with the obesity?
Yeah, because I like to bake quite a bit.
How did obesity affect your life? When did you start gaining weight?
After my first pregnancy.
Ah, the pregnancy stuff.
Yeah.
And so how old were you then?
20 years old.
20 years old. And how much did you gain?
With the first pregnancy, almost 85 pounds.
Okay, and so how much longer after that did you have the first surgery?
Say after my second pregnancy, I had surgery about 8 years later.
Okay, and did you gain even more with the second one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My highest weight was 227.
Okay. And you know, it's funny because some people will say, that's not so much, but you're not
But
that
I'm
tall.
Right, I'm 5 foot tall. So,
Okay, well
yeah.
then that makes a difference. So tell us about the VBG. How did that work?
That's where they put a band around your stomach and also staple it.
Oh.
So you have 2 pouches, basically. And my band didn't work, and so I learned to eat sliding foods, ice cream, chips, stuff that would just go down. So of course I didn't lose the weight. My total loss was about 80, gained back 40, 50 of it, and my highest weight after that was 205.
Was this the old, what they called stomach stapling?
Yes.
And how did you even find out about that?
My sister-in-law had it done 2 months before I did. I said, oh, she's losing weight. I'll go do it. Insurance approved it within 2 weeks, had it done, and I was miserable for 6 years, threw up every day.
You threw up every day?
Every day.
Now, what was her results? Did she lose weight?
She did. She gained it back. She just had a revision with my revision doctor.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so we're both even now. She's lost all her weight also.
Incredible. So when you very first heard about gastric bypass?
Had no clue. Had no clue what it was.
How did you hear about it?
She found out about it through a friend of hers who just had it done. She went and had it done, and then I said, oh, well, why not? Go have it done too.
Amazing. And I assume your insurance just paid
Covered
for that
it
one too?
immediately. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you know, I know that we've talked about the revision thing and that you don't take it lightly.
No.
What would you like to share about, well, you know, of course, we know that people have revisions because either one, they need it, or two, they didn't follow the program. And of course, that's not something that we can even change. But I think it's really important to educate people that haven't had the surgery yet. So what are your feelings about the revision?
For me, the revision was that I was very sick for 6 years. I mean, I threw up. Anemic really bad where I had to get iron infusions every 2 weeks. And that's not a fun thing to do.
Bet not.
And so my gynecologist actually sent me to my revision doctor, said, go talk to him, and you need to get this done because you're killing your body.
Wow.
So I was like, okay.
That's amazing.
But it's a tool.
Right.
It's not, I mean, if I eat something bad, I get sick.
I know that you've had some I know that you're pretty sensitive on the
Yes.
dumping thing.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate about that. So after you had gastric bypass, did you find that there were many other people? I mean, did you have anybody around? Where did it come in with the community of the support group? Like, you know, once you had gastric bypass, how long was it before you became a support group leader?
Within 3 months.
3 months?
No, 3 months before my revision.
Okay.
I started on an online form, and I wanted support because I didn't know anybody that had a revision before.
Right. Oh.
And this is a whole new world, you know.
I bet you were one of the earlier revisions.
Yeah.
So when you got, I was going to say, you've probably had a lot of people come to you after they've had the surgery and go, I want to do it, because they get so excited.
Yeah.
And so what do you tell them when they come to you on their high of?
Research, research, research. And it's a long journey.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, this is not something you're going to ever change. Once it's done, it's done.
It is done. So how long did you do research before you had gastric bypass?
I started researching in April, and I had mine in August.
That's pretty good.
I wanted a doctor that knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Being revision.
Well, you know, we hear about women that sometimes spend 3 and 4 years. Sometimes it's because they can't get approved. I think I probably hold the Guinness World Book of Records for 15 minutes of research. I was, you know, it's like when we say, you know, when do you have that defining moment? And like for you, did you have a defining moment, like where you know, you saw a picture, or you just always knew that you just weren't like you wanted to be?
Well, I mean, I always did what I wanted to do. Went jet skiing. I mean, even when I was big, I did.
Did you?
Oh yeah, roller coasters. Did everything. Wow. When I was big, and that didn't stop me. And but now that I'm a lot smaller, I've gone skydiving twice.
You blow me away.
You know, so I mean, I do a lot of hiking and gone to the mountains in Hawaii, and you know, I've always done what I wanted to do. The size didn't stop me.
Yeah. Well, that's just so incredible to me, because I isolated. I mean, I so isolated. I could not get out. I was, you know, I just thought I was dead. But, you know, it's like I didn't have the defining moment either, because I was always in the defining moment. And it was like whenever the gastric bypass thing, I mean, literally the morning that Carney Wilson said something about it on Good Morning America, I was making an appointment. I called up right then. So, you know, I was so ready. When you have newbies, as we say, let's explain to the viewers. Newbies are people that are pre-op. When you have newbies, what are the things that you tell them? I mean, obviously, they're pretty educated about the honeymoon period, which of course is during the first year or so, when you can practically do nothing wrong and everything's wonderful. So what do you tell them?
To ask a lot of questions, and to get with somebody that's been successful and has maintained at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Because after that, it gets hard every day. I mean, you can put on weight easily.
Yeah.
You can eat M&Ms, you can eat, you know, bad food, and you can put the weight on. So pair up with somebody, because it's about accountability.
It is about accountability, and that's what I was going to say, is that we have a term, the PIF, or pay it forward. And I was going to say, you know, what does that mean to you? I mean, and what does it mean to you, and why do we do it?
To pay it forward? I like watching people in my group from start until finish. Now, there's a few that disappear and don't get in touch with me until, oh, I've gained 60 pounds, you know.
And that just hurt your heart.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, you stopped coming to support group.
Right.
You stopped emailing, you stopped calling. It's pay it forward, you know. You have to help the next person coming through.
Right.
So for me, I just like watching somebody from start to finish.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, if some of us don't stick around, you know, the ones that know stuff, if we just kind of come in and get our thing and then go, there's not going to be anybody there that knows anything.
See, and I went to a support group meeting Monday night in Katy, and I talked about you, and I said, I said, Yvonne's the furthest one I know. She's 7 years out, so I go to her when I have questions, because there's not anybody else as far out as I am that I know
rare.
of. Yeah.
And
that stick around.
And that scares me too. And to me, it's a whole bunch easier to fix things, you know, when it's small.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, we have a lot of people that go back and forth about the scales. And of course, you know, I think that you have to know. And at least once you get past the honeymoon period,
Right.
I think that you have to know where you are. It's sort of like if you have a math equation to solve, it's kind of hard to solve it if you don't know the numbers. So to get into something more serious, what was the support like? I mean, like your family, your parents?
My parents didn't know about my first surgery.
They didn't know?
No. The only one that knew was my ex-husband,
Oh.
and my boys. Other than that, nobody knew.
You just didn't tell them?
Nope, just went and had it done.
Well, I'm not surprised, but I mean...
They did know about my revision because I had a lot of complications.
Okay.
And they were not very happy. My sisters were not happy. My parents were not happy.
So when you had your first surgery, when did they find out about it?
When I was throwing up, when I went to visit them, and I couldn't eat what they were eating.
And plus you'd lost a bunch of weight, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they probably thought you were ill, and so you didn't really tell them about the second one until it was over with?
Right.
Oh, wow. So obviously it didn't go over really well.
No, and the first thing was, why are you doing this to your body again?
Yeah.
You know, well, I have to. I'm killing myself. I can't eat. I'm not going to be healthy. This way I'll be healthy, you know, and I eat right.
Well, you know, I was a little surprised when I met your parents because I kind of, being me, just kind of ran up and said, hey, did you see Debra on the web page? And Deborah's looking at me like, you know, and I said, uh-huh. And, you know, and you explained to me that, you know, it's really your stepmother because your mom left
When I was 5.
when you were 5 years old, and you didn't see her till...
I was 15.
Do you
And no, I don't talk to her anymore.
You don't talk to her?
I mean, no, she tried to come in and be the mom, and I was like, you didn't raise me. I don't know you. You're somebody, a stranger to me.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
got to be incredibly hard.
It is, but I don't let it bother me. I try not to.
Yeah, I know. You're so good about that. And your boys, I mean, I know you're so proud of your boys and your grandchildren, of course. And, oh, by all means, let's hear the names that you've given your grandchildren.
My granddaughter's Autumn, who we call Chubbs. Don't know why. That name just stuck with her.
Yeah.
And my grandson is Rudy, and we call him Stromboli.
Okay, they're going to love you for that. Okay, so after you had your gastric bypass, you had plastic surgery.
Yes.
And what do you think about plastic surgery?
Honestly?
Yes.
That's
Of
the
course,
hardest
honestly.
thing I've ever done.
Really?
I've had a total of 9 surgeries, and that was the worst that I've ever had.
Amazing.
It was very painful, I'll say that much.
It's very different for everyone because for me, of course, I had an open. And when you have an open gastric bypass, I mean, now yours wasn't open, was it?
Both times.
Oh, both times, okay. Well, you know, it's like when you have all that weight pulling on your scar, and it's like, to me, that was incredibly painful. And it was like, by the time I got to plastic surgery, it was like, I was still kind of feeling like I was walking on the moon. So it didn't hurt me as much, but I know that some people say it is and some people say it isn't. And you've had, what you had, I know you had the tummy tuck.
Tummy tuck and lipo.
And lipo. And I understand that lipo is one of the things that's the painful part, right?
That was the painful part, yeah.
Okay, because I didn't have that, so I'm kind of thinking I'm glad that I didn't. So on the plastic surgery, how do you, I mean, even though you went through the pain, do you feel like it was worth it?
Oh, yeah. Do it again in a second, yeah.
You said that really fast,
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you? Oh, you know, I was thinking about when they start telling you about scars and stuff, and even on the open, you know, it's like I really hadn't planned on doing any type of dancing for a career, you know, and I really wasn't worried about that scar. But the funny thing is I've kind of like, you know, gotten to where it's kind of like a courage, you know,
It's a badge.
Like yeah, it's a
Hey,
badge.
look what I did.
And when I go out, you know, I'll wear a 2-piece even at my age, which we haven't even talked about that. Would you share your age?
43.
Aren't you a pretty 43-year-old
Thank you.
grandma?
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm 54, and I
And look at you.
literally think that I have had the best year since ever. because it's sort of strange that when we go through this life of obesity, I think we learn a lot. I think that if it's kind of all given to you right up front, that you don't learn as many things.
Yeah.
And I just, I think it all happens just right the way it should. And I'm looking forward to it even being better. Now, since you've had surgery and you've lost weight, has your life gone like way faster? I mean, have you progressed quicker?
I have more energy-wise?
Energy and like just everything you've
Non-stop.
done. Well, I mean, I know you said that you did things whether you were heavy or not, but are you doing more things?
Yeah, and I don't know how I keep up
I
with
don't
myself.
know how you do either. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So what's next on your list of things to do?
I want to go skydiving again. Actually, I want to go paragliding.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just amazing to me. So you're not afraid of heights at all?
No, but I'm claustrophobic. I've tried scuba diving and I've
Oh.
tried snorkeling and I can't do that.
That makes you feel claustrophobic?
Oh yeah, can't do the whole face thing.
Amazing. It is funny how everybody is different. So, what do you think is the best thing that you've gotten out of surgery?
The friendships that I've made.
Yeah, I think that's true too. What's the worst part?
The dumping when I'm bad.
Yes, when you're bad, and you know, it is different between us because I know that you do eat sugar sometimes. I don't. I just kind of it was funny when I told my friends that I was having surgery, and they said, "You're going to get your guts rearranged, and you're going to stop drinking Coke." And then they said, "And you're going to stop drinking Coke?" And I said, "But I'm going to get my guts rearranged. You're going to stop drinking Coke?" I said, "Yeah." So like, they're pulling their stock out of the Coke, because they knew that I drank so much. And it was funny that when I had surgery, I just quit. And because I made it sort of a black and white thing, it wasn't so difficult because, and actually I found out that after I quit doing it, I quit wanting to do it. And
When you want something so bad,
yeah,
you're going to give up
Yeah.
just to get it.
yeah. Well, when I finally quit doing some of it, I forgot to want it. And that was like the best thing, because I hate to say that whenever I would get a little bit underneath my goal, I would like in this bazaar that you'd say, I'd go and award myself with like a quarter pounder with cheese, and then I got to where I wasn't under goal for a little while, and I wasn't allowing myself to do it, and then I started thinking about, I'm not really wanting one, and I said, oh, better not think about it. I'm scared, and then I got to where I'd say, okay, I'm going to think about it a little bit. Oh no, I better not. And then I started really thinking about it hard. I couldn't make it come back. I was like, yes, that's great. Because I really say that I feel like I've caged the monster of obesity, but you got to check the lock on that cage every day.
All the time.
All the time. Because I was kind of floating around thinking I was all secure being 7 years out. And then I heard about a woman that was 8 years out, and she had something very traumatic happen in her life. And so I kind of tell people, if there's a way to plan to get back up for any emotional things, if your husband, your kids, somebody gets hit by a bus, you have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. Because
And you have to have people that understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because we're not normal.
We aren't normal, are we?
No.
We absolutely are not. So as far as emotional triggers, eating, doing things you shouldn't do, and especially being among your family, your friends, and your cultural environment, what are the things that cause you to go off the road?
For me, it's when I get nervous.
Yeah.
I normally get M&Ms and can eat 3 or 4, put them away, eat a few more. Now when I'm with my family, I try to do most of the cooking, because that way I know what's in it, and I know what I can and cannot eat. So, but it's hard. I mean, birthdays, we have cake, regular cake, not sugar-free cake.
Right.
And I'll take a little tiny piece just to get that craving gone. But the emotion part is very hard. I mean, it's not something that we can control. I mean, we're really different.
Yeah, we are emotional creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So have there ever been times that any of your family or friends have kind of sabotaged you? I mean, in other words...
No, I don't let them.
Yeah.
I don't let, I mean, I can't. I
Yeah.
didn't spend 4 years getting to where I'm at,
Right.
and I'm not going back to where I was.
You know, I'm the same way. It's like, I swear I think I'll die before I go back. And I think that if, you know, what an incredible forum this is, and I'm so thankful for the Weight Loss Surgery Channel and our fearless leader, Craig Thompson, for providing this for us, because there are so many people out there that don't know anything.
You know, I was at a support group meeting Monday, and there was 2 new people. One just had surgery 2 weeks ago. One was having surgery next week coming up. And somebody else that was almost 4 years out. I said, how do you get the new people to understand the emotional stuff that they're going to go through?
Yeah.
I said, how do you get that into their head? Because it's brand new. They're going to be losing, I mean, so fast. And they think, oh yeah, it's great, it's great. But when you get after your 2 years, it's not so easy.
Whole new deal. Yeah, that's true. And a lot of people don't realize that when we have that honeymoon period and everything is going so well, it's kind of like we've transferred that high, the food high, to the honeymoon period high. And then I almost kind of liken it to maybe even like when a woman is pregnant, has a baby, and, you know, ends up going through, you know, having the baby and getting all excited, and then the day's here, and then it's like, what do I do now? And
then listen, somebody tells you or is walking with you through this journey and saying, okay, this is what you're going to go through.
Right.
Prepare yourself. And I didn't have that. I didn't have somebody there with me, because a revision's completely different than a first-time surgery person.
It is, and you have to have a good doctor too.
My doctor was great when I had my revision. Support, of course, you know, after 18 months I was at gold, so he's like, oh, I don't need to see you anymore, you know, so I haven't seen him again. I'll just pop into his office every now and then, hey, you did good. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, the whole part about what's coming down the road, it's hard to tell people sometimes, because they get so wrapped up in the good part, and they say, oh, I'll be different. And, oh, I know, I was going to also ask you about, did you ever experience the thing that we hear about so often, where sometimes right after surgery, because it kind of makes our hormones kind of crazy and all, did you ever go through the deal where you said, what did I do to my body?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Even with the second one.
Really?
Because the second surgery, I didn't have, I mean, I had dumping with the first one, but it was anything I ate. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
This one, I know when I eat something bad,
Yeah.
I'm going to get sick. And I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I rearrange everything inside
Right.
to make myself get sick, basically?
That's sort of the insanity of it, isn't it?
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Even
so-
today, if I eat something bad,
Uh-huh.
I know how much I can eat, and I can start feeling it.
Yep.
Okay, got to stop.
I've seen that look too.
Oh, yeah.
I have. I definitely have. So did you know you were as nutso as you were before you had surgery?
I think now it's a little more extreme.
It is. Yeah, because you can do more, or
Because I can do more, and I have to be very careful of what I eat.
yeah,
You know, before I could eat whatever I wanted,
yeah.
and it was no big deal. Now I'm very conscious of what I eat.
You know, you just made me realize that it took me forever before I ever got to experience the feeling of eating something without feeling guilty, because I lived that way for 30 years. And it took me quite a while to adjust to that. So what is your, you know, if somebody's watching this at 2 o'clock in the morning and they got orange dust on their fingertips from the Cheetos they're eating, and they're going, why am I fat? I'm not, you know, what kind of hope do you offer? What can you tell them?
That there is a way to get healthy, to lose the weight loss surgery, but do your research, because there's so many different ones out there that you have to know what your body, what your triggers are. For me, if I had the research way back 9-10 years ago,
Yeah.
I would never have done a band.
Yeah.
Because I know what my triggers are: candy, chocolates,
Yeah.
sweets.
Yeah.
Now I can't do that.
Yeah.
But if you know what your triggers are, you
Agreed.
can pick the right surgery for you and research your doctor.
Absolutely.
Would I do it again? In a heartbeat.
Amen. Debra, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Reach out to your WLS brothers and sisters. A common thread runs through all of us. Celebrate our differences and learn from each other to walk in someone else's shoes. When you come in contact with negative people, acknowledge it. Be compassionate. Be grateful your life doesn't present that difficulty, and walk away. It's not about you, and it's beyond your control. Live your best life and get past the speed bumps. Make the detours as short as possible and get back on the road to success, because there is no reason to be anywhere else. Join me on Weight Loss Surgery Journeys next time. Thanks for being with us.